Hey guys, it's Emmett, Sarah's husband, and she has printed off a list of questions that you guys have submitted specifically for me, and I'm going to try my best to answer these. So, I've got a huge list here, and I'm just going to make my way down through all of them. First one, do you ever rest? No, I do not. Typically, I work a full-time job, and I come home and renovate. And I like doing both of them, so I just keep on doing both of them. Second question, what was your introduction to woodworking? There's actually quite a few questions about how I developed my skills. And long story short is my parents built 2 houses while I was growing up. So I started helping them probably when I was a young teenager, I suppose. Took wood shop in high school like a lot of people do, and most of everything else I learned was just by trying it, and I'm still learning. Every project I do, I learn a way how to do it or not to do it, so it's just a lot of time, research, and I guess living and learning, I suppose. So I've got a lot of questions on here about how to motivate my husband to do renovation work. I'll give it my best to answer that. I would say that renovating is not everyone's cup of tea. Some people like it, some people don't. So I wouldn't try to force somebody to do it. I look at it as 2 things. I like to work with my hands, and it is also great to increase the value of your home. So that's kind of what drives me to do renovation, but if your husband doesn't particularly want to do renovation, I wouldn't try to force him. But don't listen to me. So, how did you land such a cool wife? That is such a good question. I'm a lucky dude. I don't know how I did it, but I did, and that's all I have to say about that, I guess. That's funny. What's your recommendations on doing things do it yourself or hiring a pro? How far do you push or teach yourself? My general rule is if it's really expensive and I've never done it before, I might kind of hesitate on trying it my first time by myself. If it's something that you mess up and it's $100, then I'll try it every time. From my experience standpoint, I do not have much experience doing exterior work, so roofing or siding, that kind of stuff. So I generally would hire out doing a roof or anything like that. Anything interior-wise, I feel comfortable doing. And so, yeah, I would say it kind of depends on the pricing, the cost of your mistake. If you're willing to learn a lesson for a couple $1,000s, then try anything, I suppose. And then someone asks, at what point do you get permits, city permits, building permits? Generally, I would get a building permit if I'm going to be adding on, which I probably wouldn't do a DIY. So I'd make sure you get building permits for that. Any major structural changes, so if you're tearing out a load-bearing wall and putting in a beam, I'd probably get a building permit for that. As far as just renovating and keeping plumbing and electrical where it's at, I don't typically do a permit for that. But if I was going to move the location of my plumbing, moving a toilet across the room, then I would probably get a permit to do something like that. Why does he insist on picking up the giant puppy? I take it they're talking about Crosby. And believe it or not, he's only like 60 pounds, and I pick him up all the time. Finn was like 100 pounds, and I picked him up all the time too. And I don't know why I pick him up, but I think it's fun, and they like it. So I just do. I just pick him up. Let's see, what is the rug on the stairs? That is an interior design question that I am not capable of answering. Should I replace lights and mirrors in a bathroom in a brand new house? That is an interior design question that I should not answer. I would say changing lights and mirrors is a pretty cheap replacement change that would probably not increase the value of your house, and that's just personal preference. So if you feel like changing them, I would change them. Another couple questions. What has been my biggest mistake? I'm assuming renovation wise, not life wise. And I would say my biggest mess up was in our previous house whenever I was installing the dryer. We changed the location of the dryer from side by side to double stacked, which required me to move the exhaust vent for the dryer. And I rented a really expensive brick hole saw to drill the hole in the outside of the house. And if you remember, I said I usually don't do stuff on the exterior of the home, but I did. And I drilled the hole in the wrong spot and I busted out the brick. So then we had to hire a mason to come in and patch it up. And then I had to drill a hole in another spot. So that was my biggest mistake. It really didn't cost a lot to learn that mistake, but it was not a fun time. If I can only afford one electric saw, which would you get? I don't know if they mean a reciprocating, like a Sawzall, or a, I don't know what kind of saw they're talking about, but I would say you need them all. I'm a tool guy, so buy them all. What do you both do for work outside of your own home renovations? Well, Sarah obviously does her blogging, runs her business from that aspect. And I do kind of operations management and accounting for a cabinetry, commercial cabinetry shop. So, yeah, and we renovate. And I think that's all the questions. Tried to answer them. I'm sure you guys will have more. I'm sure I will do this again, but thanks for watching. If you have any more questions, comment them below and we'll do this again sometime soon. Thanks. Bye.